Oh, look at that car. I know that car.
Ooh,
Welcome back, everybody, to Motor Slingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And again, this is a live call-in show. You want to talk to Leon the Motorman? You want to talk to George the Airplane Man? You want to talk to me or Jimmy? Give us a call. What's the number, Leon?
God, it's an easy number. Come on, folks. It's 866-870-5752. Again, that's 866-870-5752.
All right. Let's jump over to Rick in Ohio.
Oh, hi.
How are you, Rick?
Hey, I'm good. I've got a question for George tonight.
Nice.
What you got, Rick?
Okay, my uncle Pete joined the Navy after he graduated high school in 1944. He wanted to fly Corsairs, but unfortunately he had bad eyesight. But he knew a lot of those guys, and he said the new pilots on the Corsair, when they were training them, because of the torque of the engine, when they took off, they landed on its top right away. Have you ever heard that story, that the Corsair had so much torque or whatever that caused it to flip over on takeoff?
Well, actually, the Corsair was similar to a lot of the high-powered fighters of that era. The P-51, the Corsair, all had that problem, and the Bearcat too, the last of the Grumman fighters, because of that torque of that big prop and that big, powerful 2,000 horsepower engine. It was just an awful lot for that airplane wing to counteract. So that was called a torque roll, and it killed a lot of pilots.
Ooh, man.
That's the one you used to take off, ease the power back, and then add the power the faster, the more airspeed you got.
Yeah, those fighters, you wouldn't just jam the throttle forward. You slowly advance the throttle till your rudder got authority and you could control the airplane. So it's a common problem back then.
I'll be. Well, okay, well, thank you. I just checking to see if Uncle Pete was right, but I knew he wouldn't lie.
All right, Rick, thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling from Ohio.
Okay, you guys have a great show. Nice talking to you, George.
Take care, Rick.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, that opens up a line at
866-870-5752.
All right, give us a call. In the meantime,
I've got a question from online, if that's all right, from Robert Jones over on YouTube. So, guys, make sure you're getting all your questions and you're getting your thanks and everything for these fine gentlemen coming through. Leon, if you're going to be building a big block Chevy, would you build it out of the 454 or a 427, and why?
A 327 is a much
427.
Oh, 427.
Sorry.
Well, it's a heavy-duty block. Now, there's several engine blocks you got on the 454, the big one, the big engine. Then the block, you can get a 4-bolt main. And then the early ones only come with a 2-bolt main. So if you're going to put a supercharger on it a lot, you need the big block, and the block will have a 4-bolt main. Main holds the crankshaft in an engine. So you want all the support that you can have if you're going to make a hot rod out of it. Now, both engines are very good engines, but if you're going to really hot rod it, you got to have a 4-bolt main, period.
Okay. So what do you think, 454 or 427?
Well, the 427 if it makes a 4-bolt main, but always the large is always better. Come on,
go big or go home, baby.
One of my 55 Chevys has a 454 in it, but it's de-stroked down to 427.
Use a different crankshaft, but a different crankshaft. Same with a 350. They use a 400 crank.
Okay.
And then they just make the different stroke out of it. So it's play around motors, but now cars come with so much power, you don't need to build engines anymore like that. I mean, I really think I mentioned this before, that I think I really started the manufacturers to putting superchargers and turbochargers on cars. Because when I first started on the radio, no manufacturers did any turbocharger other than trucks. I'm talking about for working trucks, but street cars. And every car I had, I've said this before, and that I learned from a bootlegger back in North Carolina. And he says, and I was fixing up cars, putting multiple carburetors on. And he said, you wasting your time doing that. Just put a supercharger on it, and then the highway patrol will never catch you. That's when you run and boot. Now, I didn't run, folks. Let me make that clear. I never did that. But I used to watch him. I was young at the time, and he said, just supercharge it. So I learned that. I still have a supercharged car, and it's a great way to go.
Yeah. Well, my truck, I have a Ram 1500, and I've got the V8 in it. It's a 24, and I'm about to trade it in, but they're not doing V8s. They're doing V6s.
They get the same horsepower, and it meets the standards for the emission controls.
It's actually more horsepower with a smaller motor because of the supercharger.
The 4-cylinders now as much as a powerful 6-cylinder.
Wow. No. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about a V8 that just
I agree.
Scares me. I don't want to, because I pull cars all the time and boats and who knows what.
Well, the F1 engines, they're 1,600 cc's, and I think they're a V6, but they turbocharge that thing to 8 gazillion psi or something.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dragsters will have 5,000, 8,000 horsepower out of a V8, 10,000 horsepower.
Wow. I remember Irwindale when they had the 6-second club, and they were only dragsters. No funny cars were doing 6 seconds at that point. Boy, if things change.
Yeah, wow. Now less than 340 miles an hour, man.
Holy cow.
Gee whiz. I take you. The problem with drag racing now, most people that know this and the problem that's happened when you accelerate, you got to think of the driver. Now the driver, you accelerate from a dead standstill for less than a quarter of a mile and get 340, and you got to stop in less than that. And that they put parachutes on it, and so. Don Garlics, he had to retire because the retina in his eyes, he couldn't, the pressure in your brain, your head, your eyes are the only open to your brain, and the pressure from his brain trying to push out your eyes.
Wow.
The negative G's when you slow down.
Negative G's.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you knew Big Daddy Don Garlics.
Years ago, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that Leon hasn't met.
Well, and I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah.
I came out here and loved cars. I started meeting all these people, and writing for Motor Trend magazine, and just got involved. Carol Shelby and I were friends.
Wow.
I mean, went out to lunch and.
No kidding. And Steve McQueen and.
Steve McQueen. But Shelby was a good guy.
Yeah.
He always says I have more money than him. I says, boy, Shelby, don't you even lie. I mean, lightning's gonna strike you right now. He says I like to come in your backyard and dig. He always had a way about it.
Yeah. My favorite quote from him was when Ford went to him with the Mustang. He said, "What do you want me to do with that? It's a secretary's car."
Oh, that's a dig.
A little bit, because especially because Mustangs are such a popular thing. But if it wasn't for the one that the '68 Fastback, the Steve McQueen car, I wouldn't own one. I just.
No, that made a big hit.
Yeah.
It's a fastback. See, the fastback portion.
Now, the GT500 Shelby cars, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Even the GT350, back when, in the 1800s, when I worked for In-N-Out, the In-N-Out kids had, they had a GT350. And they were real proud of that. And before that, I believe they had an AC Cobra with a little 289 in it. And so...
289, and some of them used a 260 small V8, real small.
Well, let's jump over to Tom in Temecula. Tom, what can we do for you? Is this our Tom?
Evening, Tom.
Yes, it's your Tom, the one and only.
Yeah.
How you been? Long time no hear.
Well, got a girlfriend, and I'm batching it tonight because she's got an acute case of trunk derangement syndrome. Which means I get to listen to you guys.
Hey, the alternatives. All right.
What's going on?
Well, I want to clarify your comment about the Ram 1500s because I've got one. Well, I've got a 2500 with 5.7, but I wanted to buy one of the 24s, a Rebel GT with the 5.7 before they went away. The new engines are not V6s; they're inline sixes, and yeah, you're right. They do produce more horsepower and more torque than the gas engine than the 5.7 V8.
Yeah.
The fuel economy is about the same, but you do get a bit more power. However, Carlos Tavares got fired from Stellantis, and then Tim Kuniskis, who was the CEO of Ram, came back as the CEO of Dodge because Tavares had fired him. He retired technically, but he's back now, and he announced recently that they're bringing back the 5.7 in the 1500, and they will be available this summer on lots as 2026 model year trucks.
Nice V8.
All right. So I just got to wait a little
So you'll
bit,
be able to,
and I'll have another V8. All right.
Probably within the next 6 weeks, they should be on the lots. And then they deferred the production on the all-electric and on the, I forget what they were going to call it, but the one that was using the V6 as a generator for the electric motors. That one's also been pushed back to, I think, 27. And the all-electric's been pushed back to 27 because they're going to start building what the customers really want.
Good.
Which is the V8s.
Yep.
And that's what I'm going to get.
It's the only way to go.
Awesome. Man, you just made my
Well,
day.
I agree. I just don't want to buy any. I don't want to buy anything with turbos, no matter how much power it's producing. I just don't want turbos because of reliability. I keep my trucks forever.
Yeah. Well, I keep mine for 1 year.
Oh well.
How about the Roots type
before.
supercharger? Just the belt-driven
Well,
supercharger.
I'd love to have one, but I don't need all that power.
That's
395 and a 1500 is plenty for me.
Yeah, understood.
More is always better, but I don't want to damage the reliability, and I don't want to damage the fuel economy.
Yeah.
And a Roots would be great, but don't need it.
You're smart. You're a smart
I
guy.
understand. Well, Tom, good to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And
I got a question for you. As long as I got on,
real quick, go ahead.
I keep hearing commercials for the Canik, the new 9mm Canik. I haven't looked at it, and I don't need one. But you guys have a comment on that? I'm sure you already talked about it.
9mm Canik?
The Canik MC9.
I have not seen one yet. But remember, I've moved. Andy has taken over the retail store, so I'm strictly down in Orange doing the auction stuff now. So there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I haven't seen hardly any of it yet. So,
well, there's a billboard on the 15 North down by Rainbow for the Canik MC9 saying now available in California. Big old billboard.
Hey.
You know what?
They're actually running radio commercials on your competition.
Interesting. I will check it out, and I will let you know.
Absolutely.
Get them as a sponsor.
There you go.
Hey, now.
Appreciate it, Tom.
Okay.
Good hearing from you.
Talk
We'll
to you
talk to you again.
God bless
Take care.
you. Be
Bye-bye.
safe.
All right, guys, you're listening to Motorslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And really quick, Leon, what's the number?
Phone number 866-870-5752. Real quick, 866-870-5752. Give us a call.
And we'll be back right after this.
Yes, sir.